So you've recently set up your LLC. You think you're about to go to the bank and get $500,000 worth of credit. You've been watching all of the YouTube videos. You've checked out every single TikTok. You follow every business credit guru influencer on Instagram. And you go and try to get this money from the bank and you get denied, even with your 700 credit score. And so I wanted to come to you and tell you the top 5 misconceptions of business credit. Look, my name is Will Roundtree. I've been in this space for over 10 years. I literally remember the days when setting up a DUNS number, getting the 800 toll-free number, like all of those things were important. I remember the days of being able to go to banks and getting approved for credit cards without using a personal guarantee. I remember being able to get a $40,000 line of credit or a $40,000 credit card from BJ's. For those who don't know, that's a store similar to like Sam's Club. Yes, they used to give you a $40,000 credit card without utilizing your Social Security number. But those days are gone for most of the banks. See, most banks will always now ask you for a personal guarantor, or for those who don't know what that means they're going to always ask you for your Social Security number, especially when it comes to cash value cards. See, a lot of people don't know the difference. We just hear the word business credit and we just run with it. There's different types of credit that you can get. There's what's called financial, and then they have what is called non-financial credit lines. A financial would be something similar like anything that has a Visa, MasterCard, or American Express logo on it. A non-financial would be something similar to like a store card or a merchant card. So it's the equivalent of, let's say you are utilizing personal credit. It's the difference of having a Capital One card that has a Visa or MasterCard logo versus going to Kay's Jeweler and you can only use that credit just for Kay's Jeweler. See, the reason it's important to know these things is because how can you leverage your credit if you only have non-financial credit cards? And when it comes to this business credit game and you hear all these business credit gurus and they tell you how you can get $10 million without using your Social Security number, yes, you can do that, but they are going to be non-financial credit cards. That's the part they always leave out. You ever watch those pharmaceutical commercials and they have the claims at the bottom? That's the claim they normally have on these business credit videos. It says these cards will be non-financial cards. That's the part they always leave out. But I'm going to tell you how to put the top 5 misconceptions when it comes to business credit. Make sure you got your pens, your pads, you're taking notes, because knowing these misconceptions can save you thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars, because you're buying course after course, program after program. You're going from guru to guru and you keep getting the same results because everybody normally sells the sizzle. So I'm going to give you some things to be on the lookout for. So top 5 misconceptions when it comes to business credit. The first thing is that your company must be 2 years old. No, that is not the case. Your company does not have to be 2 years old. There's different types of credit you can get once your company is actually 2 years old. In most cases, you can actually go out there and get approved for credit as long as your company's ink is dry after 1 day. That's right. If your business has been open and registered with the Secretary of State and you get your paperwork back, you got your EIN number and all of that is done, you can actually go out there and start applying for business credit. Now, of course, those would be business credit cards. In most cases, after 2 years, then you can go and apply for what are called BLOCs, or most commonly referred to as business lines of credit. Now, there are some banks at 6 months to a year, they actually let you apply for a business line of credit. But for the majority of banks, it's usually 2 years. This is usually that time frame where, you know, proof of concept has possibly been proven. You have 2 years of tax returns. Essentially, they have other data points that they want to be able to pull from over that course of those 2 years in order for you to actually qualify. Number 2, out of the top 5 misconceptions of when it comes to business credit, net 30 accounts. People think, oh, I'm gonna just go out there and set up my Uline, my Granger, my Gimplers, and all of these things and think they can go to the bank and get $100,000 worth of credit. Look, let me explain to you. All of those things do help on a very small scale. And going back to what I talked about, the same strategies that we used to utilize back in 2008 are not the same strategies that are gonna work today for what it is that I know that most people are trying to get a certain result of. The net 30s, those would be considered non-financial accounts, or getting a bunch of net 30s is putting you in position to get approved for a bunch of non-financials. Trust me, I know it looks good to get that Amazon card, but you can't use that Amazon card nowhere else. To get that Staples card, to get that BP gas card. And trust me, all of those things definitely help. All of those things definitely look good when they report to your business credit profile, but those do not give you actual access to financial credit lines that most people are actually trying to get approved for. Number 3 of the top 5 misconceptions when it comes to business credit is, trust me, I know it feels good when you have that 700 credit score, you have that 800 credit score, you're strutting into the bank, you're about to sit down across the table from the credit analyst, and you're applying for that business credit card, and you've watched several videos, you're feeling confident, and they come back with the denial. And that is because the banks don't just look at the score, they look at the entire credit profile. Yes, you can have that 700 score with 10 different authorized users. Yes, you can have that 700 to 800 credit score because you have a couple low credit card approvals, or your age of file may only be 18 months old. So you have to understand that the bank is going to look at the totality of your credit profile. Also, you can have a high 700 credit score, but you have too many credit inquiries. Did you know that banks deem more than 6 credit inquiries within a 6-month time frame to be considered excessive? These are the things that you want to know because it's so many misconceptions. People don't give the small disclaimers at the bottom of their video. They don't tell you that getting a bunch of net 30s isn't going to get you to 100,000. So it's very important to know these misconceptions when you're going to start applying and wanting to get approved for business credit. Number 4, when it comes to the top 5 misconceptions when it comes to business credit, trade lines. Now, I know everyone's heard this magical word, this magical strategy, this bulletproof concept of adding trade lines to boost your credit score to 700 to 800. And a lot of times people also often add trade lines in order to drop their credit usage. For those who don't know what credit usage is actually only applicable when it comes to revolving credit, which also makes up 30% of your overall credit profile, which calculates that score. Here's what that looks like. Let's say you have a total of $10,000 of available credit, available revolving credit. If you use $8,000 of that, your credit utilization is going to be at 80%. Which is going to drastically drop your score. Let's say your person is not in position to pay off that $8,000. So what they're going to do is they're going to go look online to see how to get credit cards with bad credit. And they're probably going to come across a video that's talking about selling trade lines. And then they're going to go purchase a bunch of trade lines to bring that credit utilization down. So they're going to go get a $20, $30, $40, $50,000 credit card that someone's going to add them on as an authorized user, which in then return is going to increase their overall credit limit. Let's say they got a $40,000 authorized user. So you add that $40,000 to the 10, you now have $50,000 of available credit. You still have the same $8,000 in utilization. Hence, your credit usage is going down to well under 10%, which in turn is going to increase your credit score. So now you walk into the bank, you got that 750 credit score, but you are still possibly denied because the banks want to actually see that your primary accounts are below that threshold of at least 30%. I always tell people you want to be closer to that 5 or 10% to get stronger approvals, but at minimum 30%. So your primary accounts have to be paid down. Trade lines does not help your overall credit profile from a standpoint of being able to get approvals when it comes to business credit. That's just aesthetics and help you to have a strong credit score. Number 5, which I'm going to probably say is the most important of the top 5 misconceptions. They feel that you cannot go and get business credit with bad credit. Personally and technically you can't. But one of the strategies that we've taught a lot of people is that you can actually have what's called a CP, a credit partner. You can actually leverage a credit partner, someone who trusts you, someone who you have to trust, that will actually allow you to put them on your company, on your LLC, on your corporation, on your S Corp, however you set up your entity. And then you're gonna set up a couple other things with an operating agreement and all of these things. And you're gonna leverage their credit to go out there to the bank and be able to get access and approved for the financial and non-financial, because of course, depending on the industry you're in, you're probably gonna want both. And this way, you with your bad credit, but you have that LLC, can go out there with your credit partner and be able to get approved for business credit cards and eventually business lines of credit. Of course, there's some other strategies in between, but I at least wanted to give you guys the basics of the top 5 misconceptions of when it comes to business credit. If you enjoyed this video, what I need you to do is like, comment, and share. Make sure you comment below, make sure you follow, and drop down below more videos that you would like to get more and additional information on. So again, my name is Will Roundtree, coming to you, bringing you the top 5 misconceptions when it comes to building business credit, and I'll see you at the top.